G'day YouTube, 1MJ here and welcome back. Alright, Monday evening here in Australia, so it's getting ready for sort of Monday morning stateside. I mean, it is sort of, around about sort of 8 o'clock-ish over there, I think, in the morning, so getting pretty close to their opening. I think it's 8, 9 o'clock that the CME opens and things like that, and obviously the market is down. As I said, there's two CME gaps that's within our, kind of $10,000 roughly of sort of where we are. And I guess we're waiting to see if Bitcoin has closed that 42,800. We'll have a look at the charts very, very shortly and see whether it might have already done that. But look, the market's still above 1.8 trillion, so that's pretty good, but it is down 3.2%. Bitcoin still holding above 43, but it did wick down into the 42s. Gas prices sitting around $2.30. Now that is for a very basic transaction. You jump on over to Uniswap or something like that, you're going to be paying more. I think you still might be up around kind of the $30, $40 for a smart contract fee. So, Ethereum's still way too highly priced for the kind of average user. But, people who have got a bit of crypto, then not so bad for them. But again, hopefully that ETH 2.0 comes sooner rather than later. And, we've got things like Optimism and Arbitrum and things like that starting to roll out now. So, hopefully that will help with that and we don't ever see those, hundreds of dollars transactions again. But I get the feeling like we might see something fairly similar in this next bull run. But I don't know if it'll get up to the $300-400. Anyway, let's have a look at what the market's doing. Like I said, it's down 3.2% in general. So look, a lot of red here, little bits of green here and there, but mainly red. So has anything performed well in the last 24 hours? In the top 100, that is. All right, we do have some things. So XDC, so XFin Network, nice move by them. Chiliz, I got some Chiliz the other day, so I am feeling quite happy. It's done well. That's really good. Like I said, I felt like they had a real flattening sort of chart pattern, hence why I jumped on it. I like Chiliz as well, but I've already got my sort of my base amount of Chiliz, and now really when I'm investing, it's mainly based on charts. It's not so much dependent on any one project, because I've already built my positions. Now it's just a bit of play money, a bit of trading money really. Elron Gold, nice, 9 point something percent. ICP, they're really starting to make some moves. Remember, this got down to I think $30-40, something like that, so it's coming back again. I mean, it's a long way down from the 420 480 it was, but look, still at least some moves. No good for anyone that bought at $400 or $300 or $200 or even $100. But gee, anyone who bought at $30-40, whatever it got down to, they're feeling pretty good. Helium Network, look, a couple of good gains there, but not a whole lot. Again, we do need to remember the entire market cap is down 3.2%. So let's have a look at losses then. What hasn't done well? I'm guessing there's going to be a couple of ones that aren't going to look so pretty. There we go. Safe Moon down 20%, but still, this is the only number that changes. It goes to 2 or 3. It doesn't go any lower. Doge and obviously Shiba got hit, but they had pretty good pumps. They were up 20% yesterday in 24 hours, and so now they're only down about 7 or 8% of that 20% gain. And that's usually the way it kind of works. Something will pump for a couple of days, generally maybe only a day or two, and then you're going to have a small kind of correction. So the gains weren't, too big, and look, the losses aren't too big either, really, other than Safe Moon. That's taken a bit of a hit, but everything else generally not too bad. A kind of sort of stagnant sideways market is what we're really looking at. And let's go over to the Bitcoin charts and we can see that. So we'll raise this up a little bit. And we can see, look, we had a clean rejection at the 200-day moving average that perfectly lined up with this downward trending line, and also breaking back into this upwards trending channel. So what we're waiting to see now is if we go down to this wick just here, it gets us down to about 42,000, sort of 721, 42,800. That's about where the CME gap is. So has this now done enough to close the CME gap that's at about 42,800? Maybe it has, but I get the feeling we still might come down, close this, and then we're going to have to wait and see, is this going to be enough to push us back up, or do we maybe have to come all the way down to the bottom of 42,000? And again, as I said the other day, God forbid, maybe we've got to come back down to sort of 32,000 where there is another CME gap. I'm leaning less towards this one, but I just remind myself that it is totally possible. 90 something percent of CME gaps get closed. They don't always get closed straight away though. So it might be that this $32,000 one doesn't get closed until kind of the bear market, whenever that finally comes. But it is completely possible that maybe over the next few days or a week, we do come back down and close this. I think that's less likely, but I don't count it out. Right, a couple of stories, not too much, but look, the big thing at the moment is this, infrastructure bill that has been put to the Senate over in the US. So at the moment, it's gone unchanged, and it's going to be put off to a vote until Tuesday. So again, it's only sort of just going Monday morning stateside time, so you've still got about sort of 24 hours to the earliest. That's when I'll probably reconvene, and it could be right into Tuesday night. But it says here the US infrastructure bill the US infrastructure bill have ended without amendments, so they couldn't come to an agreement at the moment. And that was on a Sunday. Now the Senate had 68 votes in favour of it and 29 against. So it looks like crypto's up sort of against it. And we go down here, and this is where the bill's kind of at the moment. The crypto sector has thrown support behind an amendment proposed by Senators Pat Toomey, Rob Wyndon and Cynthia Lummis that would limit the definition scope of crypto brokers to exempt miners, validators, and that's going to be you and me if we're staking, and software developers from the provision. However, the majority of lawmakers are backing a competing amendment from Rod Portman, Mark Weiner and Kristen Sinema. Hopefully I said that right. That would only exempt miners and proof of stake validators and wallet providers from the bill. So it looks like there's a whole, there's different, three different kind of groups. There's the group that put through the first bill that we all hate and don't want. Then there's the one that looks a lot more favourable by Cynthia Lummis, Rob Wyndon and Pat Toomey. And then there's another one that I guess is kind of halfway between by Rob Portman, Mark Warner and Kristen Sinema. I don't know how to say that. And it goes down here. If passed by the Senate on Tuesday, no matter what bill comes in though, the legislation would still need to clear the House before being mandated as law, giving further opportunity for the crypto provisions to be revised. So really, whatever one gets passed at the moment, that doesn't mean it's going to be law. So even if the really bad one that none of us are really in favour of gets passed, it still has a ways to go. And there's every chance that it will get revised, even if it does get through this first kind of little hurdle. Now, really, we're all hoping for this one, but I think we're going to be hard up trying to get that one. It'll probably be this one that'll get passed. But again, that doesn't mean it's going to be the final bill. This could still be the final bill. It may just be this that gets passed at first, or again, maybe both of these two more crypto semi-favourable ones at least, that last one there, and the original one gets through. We'll have to wait and see. I get the feeling like they're not going to go for the real hardline one. I think there's a lot of FUD in that, and again, they're trying to keep the prices down. So that's why I think this bill was put in. They put it in knowing that it'll probably never get through, and that they were going to go with one that was much more favourable, but they are just trying to stall things for as long as they can. There's no way that anyone in their right mind, even old traditional finance, thinks that the system that we currently have, i.e. the traditional finance system, the fiat system, the dollar system, can last any real length of time. It has progressively been getting worse and worse and worse and worse for a long time now, since the 70s, and it came off the gold standard. All of these fiat systems go to zero when governments get control of it. This is what happens. The dollar is not going to last. I'm pretty sure deep down they all know that they have to move to a new system. They are just going to stall it for as long as they can, because they didn't think it was coming so soon. But they probably all know now that crypto is going to be the future. They just aren't ready to kind of hand the reins over yet, and so they're going to come up with things like this. Now, I could be completely wrong. Nothing I offer is financial advice, but I wouldn't be surprised if the tougher one maybe gets voted through kind of at first, and then it gets, dulled down to one of the more favourable ones. Probably not the one we really want, although we can hope. And again, they really want If US want to remain at the front of the financial system of the world, crypto is the way to go. The dollar is going to die. They are not going to be able to be the world reserve currency with the dollar. Not long term. It might last another, 10 years, 20, 30 years if they're lucky, but eventually it will crumble. And I do think that they know that. So I do expect that, it'll be good if something, like the one that Toomey, Wyden and Loomis are putting forward gets through. But, I would say it'll probably be somewhere in the middle. So it might be this one over here. Now, again, everyone's trying to work out exactly what a broker is, and so then they know where the taxes go and things like that. I think Jack Dorsey came up with it perfectly. If we can strike the entire provision so we can have proper hearings and deliberation, then let's simplify the definition of broker to what really matters, where digital assets are exchanged for fiat currencies. So anywhere that is exchanging crypto for fiat, that's a broker. Outside of that, nothing else is a broker. And Jack's a really smart guy, and I think he's hit the nail on the head. This is how they need to term it so we can move forwards without things being too heavy-handed. Crypto should be able to kind of do what it needs to be done, and it can do its own thing. But once you exchange into fiat, that is where they can get you on the taxes and things like that. And I think as long as they sort of have cryptocurrencies that you can't go to the shops and buy stuff with it really, or if you do, it gets changed into the dollar to do it. That's where they get all their taxes and things like that. And as I've said before, I really do believe that is how crypto will actually save the dollar. I don't think the dollar can be saved without crypto. I think the smart people out there know that that's the case. And so it will look like you're spending your cryptocurrency. So you can go and, cash in with, Bitcoin or whatever it is. But what actually happens, not cash in, sorry, you can go and, pay with your crypto card, but it gets denominated into the dollar right there and then. So you're not really buying with crypto, you're actually buying with the dollar. And that's where they'll get their taxes and KYC and ALM and, all that kind of stuff, regulatory stuff that they're after. That is how the dollar will be saved. It will be by crypto. The dollar cannot survive without crypto. All right, Axie Infinity has hit 1 billion in sales. And I said this the other day. It's actually scary, but if this really goes viral and becomes, think of the biggest viral game that's been around in a while. And I can't think of any lately. I can only think of old ones, But 1 billion in sales might actually still be just the tip of the iceberg, and there could be a whole lot more to come. Again, personally, I'm not jumping into Axie. I like the whole premises, and I know that, gaming is going to be big on the blockchain and things like that, but it's just had such a run. I just can't risk it. If you wanted to throw a couple of dollars at it and just see what happens, fair enough. And again, that's never financial advice. I only offer you personal opinion. But a fifth of Axie's sales took place just in the last week. So people are still bullish. And that is, I guess, a lot to do with the correction that we've had. But I don't know if Axie itself corrected that far. All right, last but not least, this one made me feel pretty good. So flash crash rattles the gold market as Bitcoin holds strong. So yes, Bitcoin's had a little bit of a pullback. As I suspected, it'll have to cover that 42,800. Maybe even down more to 42,300, I think is where the CME gap starts. But guess what's happened? Gold fell to $1,690. So it's actually down over 4% in the past 7 weeks and 8.7% since trading above $1,900 at the end of May. So old Peter Schiff must be absolutely shifting himself right now, I reckon. Well, he wouldn't be shifting himself, but you can guarantee he's probably on Twitter going crazy and trying to tell everyone how the Bitcoin market is getting ready to pop and it's going to roll over and everyone's going to lose their money. He's been singing that same old tune for 10 years now, and he is right in the short term at times when we hit a bear market, but then he's completely wrong once it starts to go up. And it shows that people are starting to see what is happening in Bitcoin, and they are moving away from gold. Gold's market cap is going to diminish. People are going to move to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is digital gold. You cannot take your gold with you anywhere. You can't spend your gold. you can do that with Bitcoin. Now, not as easily as we'd like, and we're still a ways from getting there, but you can. There are ways to do it. BlockFi credit card, a number of credit cards out there that are changing from fiat into dollars and things like that. So you're sort of spending your cryptocurrency, but like I said, it's actually being changed into the dollar as you're doing it. Right, they're the stories at the moment. Like I said, I'm really just watching the market. I would not be surprised if we have to come right down to the bottom of the 42 kind of $1,000 range in the next sort of hour or so, or at some stage today. There we go. It's got 9 o'clock in the morning over there. So maybe we come down before we start to make our way back up. That is really what I think is going to happen. But again, never financial advice, but I am prepared that maybe we have to come back down to 32,000 and close that CME gap down here. That is a total possibility. I just don't think it's likely, but it is interesting, in a good way and in a bad way, depending how you're looking at it, that we had all these things converging here. The upwards trending channel, the 200-day moving average, and the downward trending trend line all meet up at the same place, and Bitcoin got rejected from it. Hasn't been a big rejection, and it did happen on a Sunday, so that's typical. There's usually a weekend retracement. We got it on the Sunday. Now we're waiting to see what Monday is going to do. All right, look, that's it from me. Stay safe. Be kind to one another. If you're in that gain train at the moment, congratulations to you because you've outdone the market, and I'll see you next time.